Welcome back, my friends. My name is Eric. This is Rome, and now we are going to talk about trading, commodities trading. So in the past, we talked about cargo hauling, where somebody else tells us what gear, what stuff they need to move from place to place. Right? We get paid a flat fee for the delivery. There's no risk to us. It's easy. So trading is a little bit different. So I happen to be here on uexcore.space. They have a lovely website. There are a number of websites that deal with similar things. And this is going to tell us about trading and commodities. In fact, we can see all of our commodity prices right here. What stuff is going for at the moment. The easiest thing to do, I said do, is to go to routes right here, right? Come down here, and it's going to give us a bunch of things. What pays us the most income? Now, this is based on kind of total. If you were to move everything at this station to everything at this station, how much money you could make, what would be your ROI? 14% on that. If we click ROI here, we can sort by that, and we can see that the highest return on our investment is 267%, and that's moving waste from here to here. So that's a big chunk, but you can see that total ROI is only 4,000. Right? So you can see there's a lot of ways to sort this, but we're going to start with by telling it what vehicle we have. Now, in this case, I'm in a Constellation Taurus. Now, again, I told you last time that it says it's got 172, and you can see, or 174, and you can see it says 174 there, but I don't really want to deal with a lot of that. So I'm going to come down here. In theory, it's going to let me do it, and I'm going to go down to SCUs, and I'm going to say 164, which is how much room I have on the main deal. Now, I could potentially get more, depending on cargo sizes and that sort of stuff, but let's just tell it 164. Now, I would like to stay within kind of the high sec to put it in, it's more of a low sec to be honest, but not a zero sec. To put it in EVE terms, the Stanton system. That's where I'm going to stay. So I'm going to stay in Stanton this whole time. It's not complete high sec. You can still be pirated and stuff outside of the once you get away from the stations and stuff a little bit, but safer. So we're going to go here. So we're going to stay within Stanton. We are going to, in our Constellation, we've set it for that. And now we can say, okay, well, I can still get my most return on investment there. But now let's go income. What can we make? I can make 311,000 if I am running fresh food from Rayari Anvik over to HDMS Hadley. Now, that's assuming that they have much. It looks like they've got reasonable inventory, and it looks like they've got room to purchase, right? Whereas we don't want to maybe risk going to Pinewood or Stanhope. Stanhope's full, according to this, right? There's nothing. So we're going to do this. We're going to go from Anvik to Hadley. We're going to buy whatever we can buy. In this case, it looks like they've got 93 SCU, right? We could get up to 164, but notice, even if we fill that up with, say, RMC, this is recycled material, we can only make 227. So we're not going to be able to carry everything, but we could carry more because Anvik sells more. In fact, if we look down here, you can see bioplastics are also big there. We can also buy them cheap and sell them somewhere else for some reasonable money. So what I'm going to probably plan on doing is we're going to buy that. Hadley doesn't look like it needs it, but we can, as long as we're there, we'll go ahead and we'll fill up the rest of the way on bioplastics, and then we'll figure out the best place to sell our bioplastics. I think that's the easiest way to do. Another good loop is to go get RMC, purchase it, take it to Terra Mills, and then from Terra Mills you can generally get some decent deals for some stuff out as well. They also have some, what is CSIL? Carbon silk, interesting. So you could do that loop, and they also do fresh food, but maybe they're out at the moment, or maybe their price is really high. Here it is, bioplastics. They also do bioplastics. So you can start to put together these loops and these trips based on where you want to go. We're going to start here. We're going to buy the 93, assuming they have it there. And we're going to go from there. You see the average person's buying 63. Now, it's probably just because there isn't a lot of it there, as opposed to the ships they're doing it. But you don't need a big ship to make money in this case, right? We can make 150,000 with the ship half this size, right? And that's more. That's essentially 3 small or medium missions on the beginner or the whatever the second level of cargo hauling is, right? So starts to build up. So we're going to head off to Rayari Anvik, and I will see you there. All right, we have arrived. It was about 5-6 minutes of actual flight time, so not insignificant to get here. So keep track of that. You know, when you're figuring out how much money you're going to make per hour, you know, that sort of stuff. Sometimes you got to fly some considerable distances. Now, the more time you spend in planning to string and figure out your deals, that's great. The flight time isn't a huge percentage of your time doing this, but it is important, right? So we're coming in cloud cover here. I'm going to slow down a little bit because I can't see anything as we're coming in. coming through the cloud cover. It always seems like I'm always on the night side for these trades. These planets do revolve, they spin just like anything else. They have a day-night cycle. I just somehow always hit them on the night cycle. I don't know if that's just my playtime. I don't know if it's if it's a full 24 hours for each of these or what their rotation is, but I seem to hit them a lot on that. So we're flying in here. We can see there's our place. I'm going to slow our speed down again. There's no hangars here. There's no need to come in hot. Right, so you can take your time. Come on in. I'm just going to kind of slow us down here. This down. There we go. Couple ships there at those hangars. There's somebody at this one too. I'm going to kind of get a lay of the land here real quick. Now the first thing is, do these hangars work? And the first thing to figure that out is if the doors are open. If the doors are open, it's a pretty good chance the elevator works, because these are also elevators that do break. So these are all people. You know what? I'm going to go right here in the middle where these guys are, because there's room for me. I'm going to spin up here. Rotate ourselves in. I don't know if any of these elevators work. What is my nose? Let's bring that up so we're level flight here. Bring this up. There we go. And we're going to just kind of slowly, let's put our landing gear out. Back us up a little bit. Burp, 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 burp. Those are Atlas Zeus, something like that. Kind of split the difference between them. We'll see if I can come down more or less right on the middle here. What? Come on. That was weird. Did I land on something? Hold on. Is there something in the way? Why did I flip forward like that? No idea. I'm going to come up and back up just a little bit. Just so kind of more of my ship is actually on the... It is a low gravity here, so maybe I just came down a little hot. Alright, I'm going to again put us into gun mode so I have shields. Let's see if they attack us. What they're doing. They don't appear to be shooting me. They do appear to be NPCs, though, I thought. With names like that. We could try shooting them. It was not my plan.
Shields.
Oh, they're shooting me. All right, there we go.
Takeoff complete. Docking request initiated. Docking unavailable.
All right, let's get going here. Guns are off. Let's get them on.
System is on.
All right, the problem is here, we're fairly low. Right, so I'm going to try to get some altitude here. We are getting hit as I try to find these guys. Burn us out of here a little bit. Now, we're not going to be able to go that fast, but where are they? Did they leave us? Where'd they go? Are my radar? Wait, why do I not have... Did I turn off my radars? Turn off my radar. All right. We want radar, though, guys. Come on.
Radar contact.
Why do I not have radars? There we go. All right. I had enough of you. We're going to burn in here. We're not going to go too fast because, well, frankly, we're not that fast in the first place. All right, weapons down. Clearly, he wasn't locked while we were in Armistice because we were getting shot at while we were parked. Back up. We've got our deal there. Get up, get up, get up, get some altitude. We were down to like 22 meters there. We're in the Armistice again. Even the Armistice. Back in. Come up, don't run into the planet. I'm going to turn my lights on so it's a little bit easier to see when I get close to the ground. Again, this isn't... No, we're not even able to get through his shield, so I might just have to say heck with this one. Again, I don't know if they can shoot us in the Armistice, but we can't shoot them because we were getting hit. But it does show why you need to do this. Now, in this case, these are NPCs. In the Armistice, can't do anything, follow them out, follow them out. Problem is, they get into Armistice and I can't do anything. Come on, come on, come on. I'm leaving the Armistice. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to sit right here for a second. Oh, we are on the ground, more or less. Wait for my guns to come back up. Shields are down. Thought we got some hits on them, but now maybe not. Get in there. Those shields are coming back up. We're not getting hits on him? I mean, it looks like we are. But it's not showing anything, is it? Yeah, it looks like his shields are just regenerating. I don't know if there's a desync or what's going on with here. He's doing some weirdness, though. So you know what? We're going to ignore it, and we're going to hope it doesn't kill us. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get back into the Armistice zone. Hope we don't die. Did I lose my spot? I lost my spot. No, I didn't. It's still there. Okay. Again, we don't even know if we can buy stuff here yet or not. Just about got hit by him. Well, we're not really asking. Yeah, we're not asking for docking requests. Sometimes it does that, sometimes it doesn't. It's in theory part of what will be in the game eventually, but isn't now. There is an auto docking, but it also doesn't work very often. In a little bit, kind of line myself up again. None of this has anything to do with that. I'm going to turn that off. We'll leave our shields on. We'll just hope we don't get the shit shot out of us while we're here. I say we're in the Armistice zone, so in theory we shouldn't, but we did get hit by somebody. It's possible that they flew out of the Armistice zone, their guns unlocked, and they were able to shoot back in. But I don't think they've got much in the way of guns. On those ships, one of them was a mining ship. I don't remember what the other one was. So we're just going to kind of hope it works. So, first thing we need to do is see if we have some working elevators. So I'm going to come over here. That one does not work. If it says transferring to warehouse, it's broke. Also transferring. So we may not be trading here at Anvic today. Next thing you need to know, notice it is minus 95 degrees Celsius outside. You need to have a suit that is equipped for the temperatures. You have an undersuit, a space suit, and then you have armor on top of that if you so choose it. You don't need armor for this, but armor will give you additional thermal protection. So your base suit is good to like minus 60 or minus 70, something like that. And so if that's not enough, well, then you better have some armor on there that gives you some additional thermal. There are some specialized spacesuits that are just an undersuit, not armor, that are meant for more extreme temperatures, so you can pick one of those up. Armor does slow you down. So there's that. All of these are shot, so I need to find either another system or I need to shard hop. We talked about shard hopping a little bit. The easiest way to do that right now is to region hop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back in our ship. I'm going to just take off vertically straight up until I am out of the atmosphere and officially off of the planet. I'm going to log out on the ship using the bed. I'll show you how to do that. And then we will choose another server and we'll come in and we'll land and we'll see if the other one has working elevators. Any elevators that are public facing that see a fair amount of use are liable to break. And this just happens to be one of those. So I will see you back in space. So as you go up on the right, you see atmosphere. That's percent of atmosphere. So you can't quantum jump in atmosphere. And then our altitude is right above that. At a certain point, our little deal here will disappear, showing us what our position is in relation to the gravity well of the planet. And that's when we know we are officially out of the planet as far as the game is concerned. So right now we're still seeing that. We got to be getting close. We're down to 0.002% of atmosphere. At 7,000 meters, it's going to depend on the moon, the planet, how much atmosphere it actually has. As far as the atmosphere goes, I don't know what the set distance as far as altitude for going away from your planet, right? We'll lose that. So we're up to about 10,000. In this case, 10,000. So now I can just stop. I'm going to go ahead and shut my engines down real quick. I'm going to get out of my seat. You probably don't need to shut your engines down, but earlier on in the game, there was a bug where if your engines were on, sometimes weirdness would happen, especially when loading cargo. So I tend to just turn them off. If I'm not moving somewhere, I turn them off. So I'm going to come over here. One of the graphical glitches on this is you don't see the floor underneath the beds. I kind of like it. I think it's like you got a cool little window in there. It doesn't actually exist, but you know, maybe there's a big screen kind of pretending. So lie down in your bed. Sometimes if the bed doesn't let you lie down, it just says sit. If you mouse over and hit F, it'll open up a pop-up menu, a radio menu, like hopefully we're going to see here. Sometimes the bed doesn't give it to you either. There it is. So I'm holding down F, I mouse over, now I hit right click, so it only gave me an option to exit the bed there. But when I right click, it opens this radio, and I can choose log out. So I'm going to log out. I'm going to change server locations. I think I'm on the US right now. I'm going to find out here in a second. I am, so I'll go ahead and change. Europe's probably a bad time at the moment, but it should be still fairly early in the morning in Asia, so I'll pick Asia. I don't know that it matters because I think everybody does this, and so I think they all end up with a pretty equal kind of radius number of people on it, but I'll pick one. We're going to get back in, and I will see you then. All right, we're back in game. I'm going to hold down Y to get up out of my bed. I'm going to turn off global chat because nothing good ever happens in Baron's chat. That's not true. The chat here is not too bad, and some days it's better than others. It's good to kind of get a lay of the land. One of the stations there didn't have working elevators, so now I know that on this shard if I need to go there. But, and you could pop in and say, hey, do the elevators here work? Sometimes people will be nice and answer. Sometimes they won't know, but they'll give you an answer anyway. And sometimes they'll just be jerks because they're anonymous and they don't care. So here we are out in space again. So now we need to land. Oops. So I'm going to just go ahead and point the thing. Oh, I don't have engines on. Turn my engines on. Now we're on, and we're just going to point this thing down. We're going to see if we can come down here and find Rayari Anvik. And I'm guessing it's right there where all the ships are. So we're going to come on down. We're only 14 kilometers away. Remember, 10 kilometers up is when we got out of atmosphere. Or, you know, we left the planet. So we had a little bit more floaty that we did before we logged back in, or it floated us back in a little bit farther away. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to see if our elevators work here. I'm going to change... Hold on. Let me hit X real quick. Because I'm going to change modes. Yeah, good. You go to warp mode, it'll give you a little pop-up for who it is. So I just wanted to make sure I knew that I was flying into the right station. We'll go a little bit. Yeah, we're in ship mode, gun mode. That's okay. Get a instant zoom in. This will be from right click and it'll hold it. If you hold, it'll zoom in even farther. I wish it gave, it says range 1.5 kilometers. I have no idea what that range is. I wish it actually ranged to whatever your point was on. That would be much more useful. There we are, just nose diving into the planet. Well, at a 90%, we are coming straight down in. We are more than 85%. Maybe not quite 90, but pretty damn close. Are my lights on? They are. Little headlight symbol there on the left next to the red arrow, red little crosshairs on our HUD. Let's see, turn them on or off. 2.8 kilometers there. I'm going to lower our speed a little bit. It doesn't look like there's anybody on these. So maybe we guessed right. $700 meters. Hit X. X will use the thrusters to help slow you down too. I'm going to put my landing gear down. I'm going to bring us up a little bit here. We're just going to kind of slowly...
Landing gear deployed.
Go, bring our nose up. We're even here, more or less. Move the camera view up top so I can see where I am. And we're just going to start coming down. That one is closed. That one is closed. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. And go this way just because it's a little closer to the center of the station. Oops. Remember, we do have a tractor beam in the nose. Although I'll probably just do this from outside because it's just easier usually. Come down here. Open the elevator airlock. This one's a little janky in how it works. This needs a pass. Alright, let's see if this one works. So, what happens if somebody came here to sell, they would have left the cargo door. They would have left the elevator down. There we go. That one works. So, that means I need to find a spot to buy what I need to buy, right? So, we're going to buy fresh food and bioplastics. Now, it's going to change depending on server. So, we're looking for the building that does that. And usually... run over here and see which one it does. Usually, see how this little red ear light thing pops up? Usually the base that has the cell has that. You can see it has it over there. Whereas this one right here is white blinky. That's usually a small landing pad that you could bring small ships in or bring land vehicles up out if you like have a vehicle that... oh, we might even try that. I don't know. Maybe we'll see if it'll let me bring mine up. I do have a little cargo truck. We don't need it for what we're doing, but maybe we'll see if it works, just because we can.
Welcome.
All right, so we are going to choose a location. Now, we don't have auto loading here. We have to do all our own loading, so we are going to choose the outpost itself rather than our ship. So we are looking for fresh food. There is some here. We're going to buy all of it. We're going to buy it in as big as we can. Right? Remember, we can hold at minimum 14 of these and potentially more depending on how I stack. I've got 9 of them, so I'm going to keep track of that. I've got 9 of those. It's going to cost me 1.26 million. I've got that much. We're going to buy them. The other thing I wanted to buy was bioplastic. So I can get 4 more of those easily on my ground thing without having to think about. So if we come over here, they've got 457. So if I go 14, we had 9, so I can go 5 more. That's going to get me filled up essentially to the brim with just base ones here. So now my next option is how much more do I want? I've got another 1.4 mil left. So I'm going to go to bioplastic. I'm going to get us 7 more of these if I can afford them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because I know I can load 7 of them on there. A little bit sketchy, but I can do it. That's going to cost me another 340,000. Now I can, if I'm really going to stack this in, and we're going to try it today, I'm going to get 14 size 2s. So we're going to come here, and I think we can get all these on. If not, we'll leave them in there. I'll come back and I'll get them some other time. Another 172,000. So we've spent about 2 mil worth of stuff. right? We're down to 915,000. We had what, like 2.8 mil or something like that when we started. We spent a lot, so about 2 mil. So all of that is loaded up. Now I'm going to go ahead, just because I want to try it. We're going to come out here and see if we can get my little loading truck vehicle going. Now, when you have outposts, because you'll be able to build your own bases at some point, this will be much more useful. You can move stuff around on the base without having to, you know, tractor beam it. But for here to move from that to that, not a big deal. But we're going to try it anyway. I don't know if it's going to let me bring it up here. We're just doing this for shits and giggles. Is this one going to have that? I don't know if this one does or not. This one does not. Hold on. This is not the right place. Not the right place. We might be at the wrong one. We'll see. But we are at the wrong one. There's no question about that. Which one is the right one? Is there one kicking around? Oh, there it is. Way over there. This one also have a white... No, it did. But it doesn't have any landing pads around it. That should have been my giveaway. I don't know that this one does either, but we're going to... Because I can't see the other side of the thing. Oh, no, this is just our deal. All right. Well, we're not going to run around and waste time. I'm going to go ahead and try to get this sucker loaded up, because I've got a lot of work to do to load it. So, again, minus 97 degrees outside. I'm going to go ahead. Where's my cargo? That's coming down. I'm going to put this up so it's not in my way. And then we're going to come over here. We're probably not going to be able to pull all this up at once. So we'll kind of have to think what we want. Now, we don't have a lot of the fresh food. So maybe that goes up, either first or last. Or maybe we put it all on one end. Maybe that's it. Maybe we'll put it on the front. We'll do our bioplastic first. Because I'm trying to remember where I'm going to sell this. No, we'll sell the fresh food first. So it'll go on the front. And we'll do it nearest the tractor beam. So that means we want to put on the bioplastic first. Now, it's not going to be 100%. Some of this is going to double up. Like these are going to be across both. Or I could just put these on the bottom. No, we'll do it this way. So I'm going to grab 7 of these over first. It's going to have a certain amount of capacity. So it says I can do some more. So I'm going to go ahead and do some more. And that's enough for now. We're going to have to do 2 anyway, so that's fine, right? I can hold more than the cargo elevator can. So it's going to transfer up. Once I hear the alarm and the beep, and generally you're okay, I'm going to look up. It'll pop up. I'm going to go ahead and hit Alt-F to bring up my little radio menu there, and you can see we are full. So I'm going to go ahead and start loading this, and I will be back when I'm done. It's going to take me a little while. Time is an issue here, right? That's why, the problem with this station is that 8s are the biggest you can buy, or the biggest that they have, right? So when you get to dealing with larger ships, with big cargo ships that load outside, like the big spaceports, then you can deal with the 32s. I think it even goes up to 64s maybe. And those can be auto-loaded outside in space by the dock handlers. And that's a much bigger deal. And then you can start to make that big return on profit for things like waste and stuff like that. But for the amount that we're doing, we're gonna have to just deal with some cargo. It is what it is. So I'll be back in a few minutes when I've got all of this loaded up. It is at 42, almost 43 minutes right now, so we'll be able to give you an idea how long it took me. All right, well, it was fiddly and it took way too long. It took me almost 40 minutes to do this, and it wasn't worth it. But we got an extra 50 SCU in. So maybe early on, and you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 8 SCU that we didn't get in here that we could have. But we still got about, like it said, maybe an extra 50. I don't know if it's that much anymore. I left 1 container behind. That's what I left behind. So I left 1 container of 8 behind out of all that stuff we bought. Everything else I managed to get in, but it took way too long. What should have taken me 15 minutes took me, 40. So for me, I would say probably not worth it now, but maybe on a day that the elevators just aren't working and you finally find one that is, then maybe it is. Take the extra time. I don't know. What we need to do now, though, is we need to figure out where we're going to take this stuff. Let me pull up our screen here again and switch back over to it so we can see it. So we want to go to HDMS Hadley. Let's go ahead and refresh this just to make sure that we got somewhat recent information. Now, this isn't perfect. This is as people input it and do what they need to do. So, you know, and it is going to be server by server probably, but we're going to hope. So we are going to head over to Hadley and we're going to try to sell this free food. Hadley happens to be at Houston or Hurston on Stanton. So we may take the bioplastic there. Now, we could dump the bioplastic off just right over here on McGrath, which is pretty close. It pays 182. Maybe I'll do that first. Maybe we'll go to McGrath. We'll dump that off. So I'm going to come back. Whoops, I need to switch you guys back too. Off. There we go. So let's go ahead. I'm going to wait till I get out of the atmosphere to do that one. Turn on the engines.
Take off.
Oh, my shields aren't on.
Shields on.
Shields should definitely be on. Why are my shields not on? These in a little bit more. There we go. All right, I'll get up out of the atmosphere and then I will land us at McGrath and we'll see what we got there.
Landing gear raised. Shields on.
McGrath is just a short hop over here onto another moon. I'm going to turn off my... Whoops, why are you doing that? Turn off my guns again, because today it seems to not want to jump if the guns are on at all. Okay, well, try this again. So McGrath has, for this bioplastic, assuming they take it. Why are we not... Oh, no. The fuck is it doing? I just don't, this is the most annoying thing, because it means that you can't jump, right? When it does this, when it screws with all your settings. I'm going to go ahead and click through these real quick and see if it's stuck. At least it seems to have so far. Alright, we'll try. Anyway, we're going to get about a 20% return on investment on this bioplastic McGrath, which is more than we're going to get for our food, the Hadley, which is a 19%. Now, that's a difference. That's a pretty significant difference. If we had a full cargo hold, it'd be 311,000 pay versus 174 or 185 to McGrath. So more money, but better percentages. So as you have less cash, it might be better for you to actually fill up on something just more ROI rather than, where the hell are we? Why? Oh, we're at just a jump point. That's where we're at. I'm like, why are we not going? We were just up to a jump point on the outside fringe of the planet that would get us line of sight to Cleo. That's where we were. And see, it turned on the weapon system and turned off my coolers. Why? Why? Did I tell you to? No. Did I want you to? Not even a little bit. What else did it turn on? Turned on that. I don't want that on either. There we go. DIG now, of course, it won't go because I was pointed at it the whole time. Anyway, so if you have less cargo space, well, if you have less cargo space, you want more. I don't know. Now, see, it got us close enough that it clicked it, but now it won't jump to it because it's not the planet. We're not close enough to jump to it. Oh, maybe? Nope, 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 nope. Turn everything off. Turn everything off. I know that bug. Come on. Come on. No, now we're going to have to clear it. Give me a second. But what I'm going to say is, look to see what you got, how much they have to sell, right? If they didn't have much to sell, sure, we get more per, but jumps. Like, if I just have to go 2 jumps to sell it, or 1 jump, assuming it works, which should be very quickly. When it does work, it is. It literally takes 2 minutes to get from one to the other. I can turn around 182,000, 185,000, as opposed to 5 or 6 minutes a jump to get to someplace and then potentially wait in line somewhere. So think about your travel times, because sometimes the total cost, even though it's a better OI, it's less money, but it might be more money per time. So think of your efficiencies when you're doing it, especially when jumping is causing so much problems right now. Taking me now. I just want, I don't know, I want Cleo. Get Cleo? There we go.
Weapons system is off. Weapons system is off. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. carrier deployed. Engines are off. Engines are on. Engines are off.
Bad things are happening in the cargo bay as I lowered it. Stuff shifted, and once we gave it some movement, yeah, I can see it. It didn't want to come down. Let's see if we got a cargo bay that works before we get too crazy here. This one will work. All right, so we want the bioplastic here, not the food, but I'm just going to unload everything. What's happening? Do I not have my helmet on? Alt-H. Somehow my helmet came off in that. I don't know how, but that's what that was. That was my helmet going down and my health going down to 4. Now I happen to have some little healy-dealies here from doing some combat missions. So now we'll go ahead and switch back to this. I don't know how or why my helmet came off, but in amongst all that, it decided I didn't need my helmet on. So let's see, we're going to take the food off first because we're not selling the food here. We are just going to sell the bioplastics here, I believe. Let me verify that real fast. Bioplastic, yep. Okay. Now, obviously, we loaded this because we weren't sure how we were going to do this, but we loaded it wrong. We should have loaded from the back, and we could have. I could have pulled around, but there's not that much of this in here. Now, I did end up leaving one of these, like I said, behind at NVAC, so I might go back and get it off camera. Since we know that there's all right. Pulled that one out. Since we know that there is a working elevator, and there might be more of this available by then. So even though we have one there already, we might be able to buy 4 or 5 more. And realistically, what we could have done was we could have said, hey, this is really close. Let's go ahead. We're going to buy a full load of bioplastic. We'll buy all of the food that's available now, and then we'll come back and get the rest of it. That's probably what I should have done. And as you play this more, you'll kind of figure out your own kind of efficiencies. As the universe gets bigger, there'll be less kind of bottlenecks at these small sites. Right now, it's just not that many places for us to go, and so we're all trading at the most, the most profitable places, right? But as the universe gets bigger, that'll change. But for right now, it is what it is. All right, I'm going to unload this, and then when I'm ready to sell it, I will let you know. Well, you guys want to see what the joys of an alpha are? My character was about to die of thirst, so I ran up to a station real quick, finished, sent the stuff I had loaded in the cargo, flew back, put the ship in storage, went in, got my food. When I came back, my cargo grid no longer works. All of the fresh food we bought is gone, as is some of the bioplastic. I got 2 left, and you can see I have no cargo grid. So today we're going to lose money. We're probably going to lose $1 million, maybe more. Right? We were at 2.9. We spent $2 million on it. I'm not going to get that back. And the cargo grid doesn't work. I'm going to just put this thing up and pretend that nothing happened. And we're going to fly back, and I'm going to sell the material I do have, the bioplastic I do have. Look, and now they just bounce back through because the cargo grid's not there. And you see how they're doing damage? Because they're not in a... Jesus, I got to find a server that works. I'm going to change servers again, and we'll see if we have any money left. Because right now, we're just hemorrhaging money due to the alpha. All right, I've changed servers. Now, sometimes cargo just goes invisible and it pops back at a certain point, right? It doesn't actually lose it per se completely. It just loses some sort of sync, right? Whereas the server has it, but you don't. Nope. Nope. Still don't have anything. Still no grid. And we're on a different server at this point, so God knows what's going on at this point. I'm going to go ahead, and this is probably a risk. I'm going to put these here. I'm just... Come on. Yeah, it's just craziness. Normally stuff like this, like the grid not working, that's a single server thing. You change servers, you're fine. Right, one different shard. It is really weird for it to follow me across two. I'm wondering if the problem is we've got like a repair issue at this point. Don't know. Or if the reality is it still sees all those things there. And so it can't snap to the grid because there's already something snapped to the grid. That, I think, is what's happening, actually, now that I think about it. I think all of that stuff is still there. It just doesn't... It's just not seeing it somehow, right? So the server sees it, and the server says, you can't snap to that grid. But my client doesn't see it. Now, I changed servers. It's possible I just need to change... Just shut the entire thing down. That's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to do a quick repair. No, it doesn't show that we have much damage. We'll fill up this stuff real fast. We'll do it. It often just shows one no matter what. I'm going to shut the entire game down completely and come back in and see what's going on as soon as it's finished. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take those two things out first, so that if it comes back, they don't cause problems. We can get them out of the way, because it may be it's seeing those things in the way now. And because of that, it can't put the other stuff in. Entirely possible. I'm going to put these in my cargo hangar here, actually. That way they're out of the way. Again, sometimes the game is the alpha, not the game, right? It's figuring out ways to overcome objectives. Because, you know, I'd really like to... I'm so close to being able to buy that other ship I want, and I'd really like to buy it. Because it'll do what we're doing now. Not quite as much stuff at once, but it's a whole lot easier to fly, and it's a lot... I don't know. When I flew it, it was a lot less glitchy. It's had more polish done to it. It's in slightly better position right now in the game. Another thing is 4.0.2 is coming out soon, hopefully. They've actually handled all of the blockers except for the elevator one. There's a big list of stuff, and they've got the vast majority of it done. Probably 85% of the stuff they set out to fix with this one, they fixed. Come on. All right, I'm going to shut the game down now. I'm going to shut it down nicely, and then we will be back. Doesn't mean the stuff's not here, but it does mean it's still not showing. It may be that the problem is this, like the server that handles this area, although, you know, we've tried multiple shards, so I think it'd be different servers. I don't know. It might just be something in this area's bug today. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the stuff that's in the cargo hold in case that does continue to cause problems. Or in the transfer bay, we'll just leave those two cans. I can come back and get them and sell them later. And what I'm going to do is... How much does it... I'm going to go ahead and we're going to fly back and sell the stuff I had. And we're going to find out how much money we've lost today.
How's it going?
Now they don't have any more demand. So we have more there. They've bought what we had. So far today, if everything had gone right, in about 45 minutes, we would have made about 300,000. As it is, I've been playing for 2 hours and 23 minutes for this. And we have lost right about 1.85 million. Now, it's entirely possible that in another day or two, I'll log onto the ship and all of the cargo will be back. The servo will have found its bug. It will have percolated back down, and I'll have everything out, and I won't ultimately be out anything except, you know, a couple hours at a time. That's possible. It might even be likely.
How's it going?
But at the moment, we kind of have to accept that we might be taking a big loss on this. So the benefit of the trade is there's always the promise of the big payout.
Yeah.
If I can make 300,000 in 45 minutes, that's more than I can make running cargo, probably. Now that I'm up to the medium missions, though, that's 3 missions, potentially. I might be pretty close to that with no risk. Right, worst case scenario, it loses it, who cares? I log out, I log back in, it clears the mission, I don't take a rep hit. I'm out no money. That's the benefit of the cargo run. And that's why a lot of people say right now commodity trading is dead. Now, for the most part, commodity trading has worked brilliantly for me. I've done very well off it. Most of that 2.9 mil that I had, I got doing this. I haven't had a lot of setbacks. But there are setbacks. I had a ship eaten by a hangar once that had 300,000 worth. That was previously my biggest loss. So almost 2 million, this is my new record for game costing me money. But we're not out yet. And we have money here. We have it here. They just don't have a demand for it yet. Because by the time we actually got here, you know, that number that we saw, that was unrealistic as it turns out. You know, this isn't tied into the game numbers. It's tied into people updating information. And so there's not people updating information, or not enough of us updating information, then it's not going to show it. It is what it is. Now, if we wait, that demand will go back up. I could log back in, and we'll be fine. As it is, for the moment, I'm going to write it off. We know that that money's there. I haven't eaten either, just like the character dying of hunger and starvation. I'm about to. So I'm going to take a lunch break, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to figure it out. So I want to say that this is not the norm, but it is a possible, right? Like I said, usually the biggest problem is just elevators that don't work. That's the biggest problem, just some wasted time. Like I said, I did have a ship eaten, but most of the time I'm not going to have a lot of elevators involved in this. Maybe the final cell at one of the big planets for the fine food or recycled material, something like that. And usually it doesn't eat it on the way down. It eats it when you try to bring it back up. So generally speaking, the risk isn't huge. Now, if I hadn't had to go back to buy food, we would have been fine. That would have taken that out. We wouldn't have had that issue. We would have made all the money. The problem was that when we landed there and we went up and down, and it did it. The other thing is, if I hadn't have had those extra cargo in there stored above the cargo location, I might also not have had this problem. Realistically, probably going up and down caused some vibration in that. Those cargo that was loose started vibrating, and that caused the game to glitch. Almost certainly that's what happened. Now, should the game have glitched? No, it's still a bug, but it's a bug that I think I know how to avoid in the future, potentially. And that's just don't overstock your stuff. Like I said, we could get an extra 50 SCU in there, and I got greedy. And just like in real world, greed kills, right? You know, you try to make shortcuts, and stuff happens. So I think it's important. So many of these videos for Star Citizen show the game as either completely unplayable, or they show the game as perfect with no issues at all. The reality is somewhere in between. And there are days it's going to be unplayable, and there are days you're not going to have a single problem, and you're going to see the future, and you'll be like, oh, and you're going to go onto the store, pledge store, and you're going to buy 12 ships with real cash, and the next day the game's going to be unplayable. The game is somewhere in between. And sometimes some of the bugs are avoidable. Like I think in this case, just don't overfill it. I think as long as everything had a cargo grab, it would be fine. The fact that still nothing sees a cargo grid to grab onto tells me that the ship thinks it's got something there. It's just not showing up on my client. So I think that's the problem. I think it's solvable. I'm not upset. I've still got $1 million in cash there. I'm trying to buy the ship, but you know what? What I lost, I can re-earn, right?
Hey.
So you just have to keep a good attitude. I'm going to go have some lunch. I'll be back. Maybe I'll be able to sell this stuff at that point. Maybe I'll wait a few days before I bother, and I'll go run some cargo missions or something. Anyway, either way, we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. You have a great day. We'll see you. Cheers. And this is Editor Eric from the future with an update for you. Now, as it turns out, my speculations were more or less correct. What seems to happen is that the client, the ship, something lost a sync, and the cargo was still there. And that's why the cargo grid didn't work, because there were things attached to that cargo grid. They just weren't showing up. And there's a puppy who's, I don't know if he'll be blurred out or not. Oh, you're messing it up, buddy. You're messing up the take. Oh my gosh, you're so excited. Don't knock over the soda. Oh. Life with a puppy, sometimes complicated. Huh, Buddha. So, well, thank you. Now my glasses, I can't see out of them. No, I can't. All right. Chew your toy, not me. There you go. That's a good boy. So, anyway, the stuff was still there. So what I ultimately ended up doing was I flew the ship down to Lorville, which is, according to the game, my home base. I generally work out of a station in the Houston system, but not Lorville. But the thing is, any ship or any station or planet that you can land at where you can actually store the ship, you can trade directly from the ship's inventory in and out without having to actively interact with it. So what I did was I stored the ship, I went to the commodities trader, just like where we were buying the materials at the stations or out at the outposts on the planets. Went to the screen, clicked it, and then instead of trading from the planet, I selected the ship itself. And then the items showed up, and I sold them, and we got our money back. Now, I lost a good chunk of that again last night when I was playing, and I was flying back to Lorville, actually, to turn it in. And the server shut down for planned maintenance that had a whole timeline but wasn't announced at all when I logged in or at any point in the game. So I ended up getting the money back and then losing another, I don't know, 500,000 or so in goods with the server shut down. So again, CIG gives, CIG takes away. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Cheers.